Did you know that you're living out biblical principles from the Bible without even knowing it?
Hi guys! Welcome back to our channel. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how personal finances tie together into biblical principles, specifically the creation story.
The creation story talks about stewardship, working, productivity, generosity, cultivating, themes that tie into how we deal with money in our everyday lives. We're going to show you where it's found in each verse, and hope you guys enjoy this video.
In Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, we see God give a command to humankind, and it is to rule over everything, really, to rule over the animals, the trees, not the trees,
The apples.
basically to all living things. This first principle of ruling over things is actually called stewardship. God entrusted us humans at the beginning of time to be stewards of every living thing. And in the same way now, we are stewards with our finances. We must adopt a mentality of taking over our purchases, spending, finances, rather than them taking control of us.
In chapter 2, verse 8, we see where God places the man, or Adam, in the Garden of Eden. And he gives them further instructions to cultivate and to keep it. And we arrive at our second principle, which is work and productivity. So what does cultivate and keep it mean, right? If you think about what Adam was entrusted with in regards to the garden, what's inside of a garden, what does it take? You gotta tend it, you gotta plow the floor or whatever. Busy sometimes doesn't mean productive, right? Sometimes you can be busy and you can be unproductive. But in this case, we see that Adam was busy and he was productive, so he was working. So if you take that same approach towards your finances, to be diligent, to plan financially, and to invest in different aids to generate wealth, I think it's a great approach. It's definitely a principle that not only affects you, but it affects you and your family in a positive way.
Principle number 3 is being generous with others. So we arrive at the abundance of God's creation. We see that God did not hold back in his creation. He created fish to subdue the water, birds for the sky, plants, trees for humans. And we see how generous God was with us, with creation. So much as to say that God has no limit in his generosity. And adopting that same mindset, we as humans should try to apply that same approach of generosity in our lives. Whether that be giving back, where you see someone on the street asking for food or what have you, to charities, or maybe your church needs some help raising extra funds for something. Whatever it may be, we must always be ready to give a lending hand and to be generous.
And we arrive at our last point, which God created earth, at least from what we learned from the Bible, in 7 days. And he stewards his time wisely throughout those 7 days. Each day has its own component, right? One, he's moving waters around. The second one, he's making the birds in the sky. Third one, he's making light, and so on. He is showing us that stewardship of your time is of essential importance. In our world, we kind of know it as time management. And in business, time management is essential for generating growth, recognizing the value of long-term planning, and along the way, you learn patience and how patience helps you grow financially. And with growth comes stability, right? So the end goal of all of this is to be stable in what you're doing and in the way you're managing your finances.
So as you can see, finances and the creation story coincide together really perfectly. You're already fulfilling scripture without even knowing it. We really hope you enjoyed this video.
And share it with your friends, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. What are we gonna eat?